My name is Ismi Nabila. I am one of ISMA's awardees from Bandung Institute of Technology, and currently I have just finished my study in the University of Glasgow for a term. I took social sciences, but some of the courses that I took are climate change and sustainability, introduction to the Scottish culture, Scottish literature, and also philosophy. Starting from the first time I heard about this program, I heard it from school, and I immediately took the opportunity because I realized that I have to get out of my bubble and start studying other disciplines, and it is one of the best decisions that I've ever made so far. The process was it was not easy, but at the same time, it was bearable. The English test was nerve-wracking. I took Duolingo test instead of IELTS and TOEFL, but the University of Glasgow was kind enough to accept that. So I took the Duolingo English test, and I also took the interview. It was intimidating at first, but I got through it. It was a little bit filled with anxiety because my visa came out late, and also my PCR test almost came out late right before my flight, but I finally got to fly here safely. When I arrived here, I was quarantined for I think 12 days because Indonesia was in red list instead of the amber list. I'm pretty sure Indonesia is already in the amber list right now, and I was quarantined. So after that, we were quarantined in Edinburgh, and then we get to finally move to Glasgow into our flats. And University of Glasgow is one of the prettiest campus that I've ever seen. Probably one of the prettiest campus in the UK. Is there any cultural shock? They love their drinking, they love their partying, and they love their socials, and I was not really used to that, but I don't think it's that much of a big deal. It's more about the language barrier. The spoken language is much harder. I noticed that it's not really the way they speak is more toned down than what we used to see in the media, so I have to tone down the way I speak as well. So that's how I overcame that barrier. How did I first settle with the courses and the classes that I took? Before this, there's this program that is sort of like a simulation on how it would feel like to study in the University of Glasgow. So I took that, and it was really helpful because one of the first things that they teach you is how to write an essay. Now all of the essays that I did for all of my minor assessments here in the University of Glasgow are better than the research that I've done in my home university. But I was very surprised that most of the time it's pretty much the same. Maybe it's because it's online, so it's pretty much the same with my home uni. But one thing that I noticed is that one lecture they would have multiple lectures and multiple meetings, and one meeting will only have 1 hour, and I think that is a really good system because by having multiple lectures in one, I know that it's already applied in some of the classes in Indonesia, but it's almost applied in every courses here. I think having multiple lectures in one lecture and having multiple meetings with only 1 hour long, it helps the lecturer to be more, I guess, passionate about what they're talking about, and the students are more focused in class. Therefore, some of the changes that I made in my studying habits are because of the shape of the lecture. So I was more focused, I took more notes, and I was more comfortable in class. Although there's one particular class that I really like, which is the Scottish literature. I think it's because the way the lecture was shaped, or maybe it's because the way it was delivered. It creates one of those classes that is just packed with lazy students for some reason, but this one class really pushes the students to speak more in class. Therefore, it creates a really ambitious environment filled with ambitious students, and it pushes you to be more competitive. One thing that I want to apply as well, cultural wise, is how nice people are. I think that's just how they brand themselves, is that they are nicer than people on average. So you will meet real nice people on the streets, and sometimes you will look confused in the streets, and people would approach you to ask you if you need anything. They're really nice, and I wish that it's normalized here in Indonesia. Did you have a mid or a final exam? If you had, how was it? They pretty much expect you to do the same thing. It's one essay for the exam, and maybe some quizzes as well. It was fine. It was not really that far off, and it was not intimidating at all. A memorable experience from being a part of ISMA awardees. I really admire the people that I get to hang out with inside and outside of ISMA. All of the ISMA awardees that I meet here have been really incredible, and I've never seen such passion and such uniqueness in these individuals before. And I get to hang out with them. I know that at the very beginning I committed that I want to make a collaboration with people here, but I realized that 3-month term is such a short time to create that kind of bond and that kind of trust. So I did not achieve that, but it kind of inspired me to go abroad again and to take opportunity like this and to do better. If I can turn back time, I did join some activities such as volleyball and arts society, but I guess it was not really a comfortable environment that I was in, and I wish I forced myself more to kind of like do it. And that has been my story with the ISMA program. I am ISMA biased because they make studying abroad more approachable for all the dreamers. Be bold to go abroad.